Hello, everyone. Voitune here back once again, and we are finally going to talk about the Survivor 50 in the Hands of the Fans cast. And this is going to be an analysis of all 24 players here to play on this All-Star season. Now, a lot of people made this video immediately after the cast was first announced after 48 was over. I did not personally want to do that. My style of play is try to get these videos as close to the actual season as I can. For me, I personally wanted to wait until there was some cast photos or like player interviews and videos and all that sort of stuff. And we finally got that. I'm going to be using the Entertainment Weekly cast photos for this, and we're going to be putting a bunch of information on the slides of players that's going to be happening here. We're going to be showcasing their seasons that they've done, as well as their strengths, weaknesses, and a fun fact about them. There is one thing I also want to note. There will be no star power here. If you've seen my previous videos, you know that star power is a sort of thing that I do to rank players, just giving them a 5-to-1 ratio. There's no star power here because star power was for determining if a player could be a main character on their debut season, or how much of a gut instinct I have that they might get a returning player call. All these players are returning players. There's no need for that. So we are just going to be talking about to them as we are right now. All right. We are going to be going alphabetically and we're going to be dividing them by their original starting tribe. So with that, let's get into it. All right, let's start with the Sela tribe. And our first player is Christian Hubicki, who he's only done one season, David versus Goliath, where he got 7th place. Now, Christian's strengths is his likability, his social game. He's able to just organically mesh with players, with people, and they just automatically like him. He is that likable. His weakness, however, is his threat management, because once the merge happened, he became the biggest threat in the game automatically throughout the rest of his time there, until eventually his target just became so massive that his own allies blindsided him at the final 7. So I think Christian will do very well in the early game, but if he hasn't learned how to manage his threat level, history is just going to repeat itself and he's going to become the biggest target on the board once again. Now, we're shifting from one big target to the largest target to be in this entire season. We have Cirie Fields. She's done 5 seasons of Survivor, has gotten 4th in Exile Island, his 3rd in Micronesia, I want to say 17th in Heroes v Villains, 6th in Game Changers, and has most recently gotten 4th again in Australia versus the World. And this isn't even counting the times that she's played on other reality shows. She won Traitors season 1, and then got 5th in Big Brother 25. Cirie is a legend in reality TV. She is the best to never win a season of Survivor. Can she win this time, with this being her 6th season? I mean, her game, she's an all-around player except with the physical. So she's great socially. She can integrate with anyone, and she has a strategic mind like no other. Her weakness coming into this is that she is the biggest target on the board. Like, everyone going into this knows, if Cirie gets to the final 3, there's no need to even speak a word. Like, she's going to be given the win. So Cerie's going to have to really, really manage that threat level that's already at a plus 10 in order to really have a shot at getting to the end. Now, moving on, we have Emily. She's done one season, 45, and she was definitely one of the biggest characters of 45. Her isolated to oddball sort of stick in the early game of 45 to a power player going into the deep game. Her strength is her strategic game. Like, she knows what needs to happen, when to happen, and how to do it. Weakness is a bit of a social game. Like, I people are definitely concerned of what type of Emily are we going to get in 45? Are we going to get the evolved Emily that happened in the late game of 45, or are we going to get the confrontational Emily in the early games of 45? That remains to be seen. Next, we have an OG of the game. She's done 2 seasons, Jenna Lewis. She made it into the merge of the original season of Survivor and then got 3rd place, almost winning the game in the first All-Star season. Now, some strengths that she has is the strategic game. Like, she knows how, she showcased on All-Stars that she knows how to play the game. Another strength of hers is that she has a low threat level coming into this game, but the same reason why she has a low threat level is a weakness, because she probably has the fewest amount of connections coming into this game. Like, she's going to have to develop a group when she comes onto the beach, not necessarily pre-game like many other of these other players have. So either she's going to be an early out, or she's going to get herself ingrained or grade and carry on into the game. Next player we have is Joe from 48. His strengths are loyalty and the physical game. He won 4 individual immunities of his season, and he's probably one of the most physical guys here. His another strength of his is that he is loyal. Like, everyone coming to this knows, Joe is loyal AF. Once he chooses someone to be with, he is with them for the rest of the game. 48 sort of wasn't his Joe's season. He did really control the game, but the jury definitely he wasn't a fan of his, which is his weakness. A bit of jury management along with perception. Like, if Joe comes into this preaching loyalty to basically doing the same game as 48, I don't think the jury's going to reward him a win this time around. Like, if you can't get you get a newbie cast to, like, buy into your whole loyalty stick and for it to be the reason to win, then All-Star cast isn't going to fare much better. Next, we have a legend of the game, the original Jungle Boy, Ozzy. 4 seasons, Cook Islands, where he was runner-up, Micronesia, where he made it to the merge, South Pacific, where he got 4th place, and then with the Game Changers, where once again he made it to the merge. Now, Ozzy's strengths is his physical game. Ozzy is one of the most famous physical guys, best challenge performers in the show's history. His weakness, however, is a strategic game. Like, he's never really played the strategic game. Like, he's had good moments of strategic knowledge, but, like, he does not really know how to play it to the best of his abilities. And the social game, like, Ozzy's personality kind of does rub people the wrong way at points, so he could be on the outs because of that again. Nice to have Ozzy back, but are we going to get the same Ozzy we've gotten before, or are we going to get a new Ozzy? Like, we've gotten the same Ozzy 4 times. Can he change it up, or are we going to get more of the same? Next, we have Rick Devens' one season, Edge of Extinction, where he got 4th place. I think this is sort of like Rick's third time because he got voted out early in Edge of Extinction, then came back and then played a really bold game, taking no prisoners, running through the game like the Kool-Aid Man, which is a big strength of his. People know he's a bold player. He's not going to back down when he's put in a corner. Now, I'm going to say that with that kind of playstyle does come a big target, which is his weakness in threat management. At a certain point, he became the most biggest target in the game, where he had to have individual immunity or an idol in order to save himself every single round up until the final 4, where he lost to fire making. So, I do think Rick's playstyle can work, but he needs to learn how to control his threat management in order to make it deeper into the game. And the last person from the Steela tribe is our most recent winner, Savannah. 1 season, 1 win in Survivor 49. Back-to-back seasons as a winner. Wow. Just wow. I'm impressed. They don't normally bring back winners right away. Now, Savannah's strengths are, as we've just seen, her strategic game, also her physical game, and I'll just include like a side of loyalty too. Like she is loyal to her people. She was loyal to Sophie and Rizzo, and that alliance ran the game even despite being on bottom. That's impressive. She also won 4 individual immunities. She's tying the record for women, and she does have a really great strategic game. Like that's undeniable. Her biggest weakness, however, is her social game. Like she is loyal to her people, but like she doesn't really get to know people outside of her core group. And I definitely do think she's aware of that coming into the game. So we'll just have to wait and see how she does this game. But like this is our first winner. This is our most recent winner, on this cast, and I'm excited to see how the winners will do despite having probably a big target on their back coming into the game. Alright, now it's time to move on to the Callow tribe, and we will start off with Charlie. Charlie's done 1 season, season 46, incredibly chaotic season. Charlie is the first of the three 46 players we will be talking about, and on that season, he got 2nd place. And another thing to note is, if some scenes went slightly different, he could have been the winner. Now, his strengths coming into this are his strategy game and his threat management. Charlie's a great strategist. He practically run the back half of 46, and he's really good with his threat management because almost everyone underestimated him or perceived him in a certain way. However, that perception is his weakness because he did such a good job with managing his threat level that people perceived him as like this lost puppy dog or a little brother. They never really took him seriously, and despite the great game that he laid out at Final Tribal, that perception seriously penalized him against his opponent in Kenzie. So coming into this, can Charlie change that perception to gain that respect that he needs, or not? Next, the player from this tribe is someone that's been gone for a long time, a decade now. Chrissy from HHH. 1 season, 2nd place. Her season was the first time Final 4 firemaking was introduced, in an official capacity at least. Again, another player that could have won if not for a few small factors. Her strengths are the strategy game and the physical game, because just like Savannah, she tied the record for the most individual immunity wins by a woman in 4. A massive weakness of Chrissy's, though, is her social game. Like, she could say stuff that did come off as a bit offensive, and like she wasn't exactly loved by every single player. So people felt more comfortable going to the end with Chrissy because they believed that she would be an easier beat in the end. I do think they underestimated her a little bit, but like she did have the habit of being her own worst enemy. Can Chrissy change history and be the winner that she was meant to be in 35? Heroes, Healers, and Hustlers? We'll have to wait. Next, we have the long way away return. Brace yourselves, people, because the Dragon Slayer has awoken. Coach. Coach is the only multi-timed season player of Survivor on this tribe. He's done 3 seasons. His first one, Tocantins, got 5th place. Then Heroes versus Villains, where he got 12th place. Then finally in South Pacific, where he played his best game and got 2nd place. Another situation. He could have won, if not for a few small problems. Now, his biggest strengths are his charisma. He's always been a charismatic guy. He's the biggest character on the season. He just has a way of drawing people in. They don't necessarily take him that seriously, but it's fine. And in his third appearance, he finally mastered the strategy game, where he controlled the whole game and developed this sort of like cultish alliance where they were all bonded by religion and managed to get to the end. His biggest weakness is, as I've mentioned before, his perception. Coaches, if you look at it a certain way, Coach is a bit of a joke. Like, he's coaching himself, but like you can't really take him that seriously. And in his final tribal, it was hard for him to like own up to everything that he did because he perceived stuff a certain way, but he ended up doing other stuff and he just could not own it, which cost him in the end. So, has enough time gone by where people recognize who Coach is and that perception of him has shifted? Or has nothing changed since season 23? Alright, next, we have one of the first players I ever covered on this channel. We have D. One season, season 45, and is the sole survivor. Here, another thing to note, among a whole bunch of this online survivor community and much more, D is considered the best player of the new era. It's been proven. There are receipts. Now, Dee's greatest strengths are her strategic game and her physical game. Like, Dee is a specimen. She got the physical game down, and she really knows how to play the strategic game. Like, she blindsided Emily, she blindsided Drew, and she did a whole bunch of other stuff to maintain real solid loyalty within her core allies. Now, biggest weakness, huge threat coming into the game. Like, best recent winner, best player of the new era, and has been the talk of the town ever since her season. She's the biggest threat coming into this game, right behind Cirie. Targets 1 and 2. So, let's see how D does with this humongous target on her back. And when I mean a humongous target, I mean not even Texas is big enough to describe this target. Next player we have is Jonathan Young. Prime specimen here. Embodiment of Thor. Someone say could tell Chris Hemsworth to move over and let him take over the role. one season, 42, and he got fourth place, fire making loser. His strengths are, well, the physical game. Like, this man has done unbelievable stuff, especially in the tribe challenges. That is remarkable. He's also good socially. He's also good strategic sometimes too. He knows how to make allies. But his problem is actually his social game, and not really the early social game. I'm talking about the late social game. We saw in 42 that when the hunger starts to set in and he's a bit malnourished, he can sort of lose his temperament and say and do stuff that is kind of regrettable. I'm a bit surprised he wanted to return given that fact, but hey, if you figure out a way to like control those temperaments, that's fine. So, can Jonathan maintain that skill that he needs throughout the entire game, or will history repeat itself? And once he gets hungry and loses steam and energy, will he be done again? Next, we have Camilla, another fourth place fire making loser. There could have won her season if she had actually been able to make a flame. Her strengths are her strategic game and her threat management. Like, everyone underestimated Camilla, except for Kyle. And she was a really good strategist too. Like, she and Kyle really knew how to play the strategic game that season. Her weakness coming into this might be her insulation. Like, and I say insulation as in I'm not at the moment sure where her like group is, like her natural group that she can just come into the game with, or on her tribe. Like, I'm not sure who her go-to allies will be, so that could put her on the outs. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Next, we have Mike White, creator of the White Lotus, School of Rock, and the Emoji Movie. It was also on Survivor. Specifically, David versus Goliath, where he got second place. Mike's biggest strengths are the social game and the strategic game. Like, Mike was a really good with everyone socially and as well as in a good game position where he was able to make some really good moves. Like, I'm pretty sure the Christian vote was his. I'm pretty sure the Davey vote was his, and those were his two biggest accomplishments, which were really good game moves. Weakness, however, is commitment. Mike could have won David versus Goliath. He had the resume, and we know he's a talker, but like, he sort of waved the white flag at Final Tribal and just he felt bad and didn't want to take the win away from Nick. Like, he wanted to play a 39-day game, but not really necessarily claim the win. And he's owned it. He's admitted it. So, well, I'm not sure if it could happen again. Like, is Mike White here to play to win, or just here to have the experience and play? You see the difference there? If Mike White is committed and here to win, I think he's a great player to win this game. But otherwise, might as well go home early if you're not here to play to win. And lastly, from the Callow tribe, we have Tiffany. One season, 46, got 8th place, the lowest placement of players as far as their highest average on this season. Her strengths are her social game and the fact that she probably has the smallest target out of everyone here coming in. Like, that's good. Her weakness, however, is probably her overconfidence. Like, she had an idol. They just blindsided someone because he had an idol. And she was just so overconfident that she didn't think she had to play it and that people would just take out Q. And she just kept trusting Q. And Q kept backstabbing her. So, like, if Tiffany feels comfortable and confident, she will make mistakes, and that could be her undoing once again on this season. And now we are on to our final tribe of this cast, the Fatu tribe. And I'm going to be honest, I like this tribe personally slightly more than the rest. So, with that, let's get into the players from this tribe. And we're going to start off with one of my favorites from all of Survivor, Angelina. One season, David versus Goliath, where she got third place. Her strengths are her social game, as well as the fact that, like Rick Devens, for example, she is a bold player. She's loud, proud, and just knows what she needs to do, and will stop at nothing and get to get her way. Unfortunately for her, that style of play did not favor her very well in her season, which attributes to her weakness, perception. In David vs. Goliath, she wasn't very much well respected for her play style, and while she did make it to the final three, she had no respect from the jury to award her any votes. I think the only players that really respected Angelina were Nick and Mike. However, David vs. Goliath was 8 years ago, and honestly, Angelina plays a lot like the woman in the new era. Like, she reminds me of a Genevieve, a Camilla, a bunch of other women that do have done really well in the new era. So maybe the times have just changed to where Angelina can play and be respected very well. Next, we have Aubrey. She's done 3 seasons. She got second place in Koran, one of the biggest debated final twos ever. Some people say Aubrey should have won. Some people said Michelle should have won. I'm personally on the Michelle side. She's done 2 other seasons. We got fifth place in Game Changers and was out very early in Edge of Extinction. Her biggest strength is that she is a strategic player. She knows how to play the strategic game, and it's favored her well before in the past. However, her weakness is that she seems to always be a target. She was a target early on in Koran, she was a target early on in Game Changers, and she was a target in Edge of Extinction, which was when her target was at her largest. Now, I do think her target has shrunken a bit since then, but I do think she will still have more than average size target coming into this season. I don't think she's on a 3 or all of the 3 winners size as far as targets go, but I do think people will have it in their minds and say, we should probably get out Aubrey before she gains too much traction like she has in the past. Next, we have Colby Donaldson. 3 seasons, his second place in his season 2, the Australian Outback. Could have won if he had taken Keith the chef versus taking Tina, but he made the purposeful choice to lose the game. Then he was out rather early in the first All-Star season. Then he came back for Heroes vs. Villains, 20th season, back in 2010, and got 5th place. He ended up being the last hero standing, but that was mainly because the villains that were in power took pity on him. Like, Colby's attitude during his final outing was very disappointing. He was the Superman in a fat suit. He completely lost respect for the game that he essentially fell out of love with. Like, he did not respect Jeff. He did not respect the game. He was very rude and confrontational. So, like, I was surprised to see that Colby wanted to return, but I think his life has changed to where he regrets how he was in his last appearance. So he might want to try to gain some redemption. From his past performances, we know his strengths are his physical game. He was the originator of the record-setting 5 individual immunity wins in a single season by a man. It was 5. And like in Heroes versus Villains, he showcased that he is decent at the social game. I'll give him that. Like he did. It took some time, but he did win over his castmates eventually. Like, he's okay socially. His weakness, I think, will be overconfidence. I think if Colby's the type of person that if he gets comfortable, he will become overconfident and think that he's too good, like he's the man. I don't think he's necessarily all prepared for this new era style of play either, where someone can all of a sudden want to blindside you. I think if Colby thinks he's in a good position, that no one will touch him. But I think he might be in for a rude awakening in that regard. Next, we have one of my favorite players from the new era. We have Genevieve. Hallelujah. Genevieve the Terminator is back. One season. 47, got 5th place. Really strong player, really great character. I just really like Genevieve. She was the highlight of 47 for me, which wasn't a great season for me, as you may know. Her strengths are her strategic and social game. Her social game early on was top tier. She got everyone on that tribe to really like her and want to follow her. And her strategic game was on point as well. The Keyshawn vote was all her. The Saul vote was all her, and she had a major part in Operation Italy. If she had gotten out Rachel, she would have won that game. No doubt about it. Her major weakness, however, is mistiming. Like, I think the Saul vote was right and it was necessary, but it may have been too early, as from the Saul vote on, she was always a target, and while she did escape some votes, she was still always a backup option of some sort. If and her social game, like she admitted that she cut off the social game for a time after the Keyshawn vote, and she didn't really open herself up to that until later on. So, but I do think she understands where she went wrong before and can properly play with all of the tools in her tool chest now. Next, we have our last winner we're going to be talking about. He's the winner from 48, Kyle. One season, 48, sole survivor. His strengths are the strategy game and threat management. Kyle managed to create this perception of him that he wasn't as large of a threat as he was, which allowed him to make it all the way to the end with some really good win equitability. And he was a really good strategist on 48 too. Like, he was the best strategist on 48. He's widely considered the second best player of the new era, right behind D. So having the two best players of the new era here, and they're both winners, that should be something. I think his major weakness coming into this game is he is a target coming into the game. He's a huge target, just like D, just like Savannah, just like Sari, just like Aubrey. They are all targets. Like, I think they do stand out more than others as like, oh, we should probably get them out sooner rather than later. So I do think Kyle does have the ability to potentially like lower his threat level low enough to where he could avoid being targeted, perhaps. But I think if certain elements are still in the game at a certain point, he will get targeted again at some point. Next, we have Q. One season, 46, got 6th place. Q is messy. Wow. Messy, messy, messy. I will say his strength is the strategic game. Like, he is good strategically. He does know how to make things happen up until the point where things don't go his way and he completely freaks out, which is his weakness. People know Q is a chaotic player. He is messy. He's chaotic, trying to do all this and this and that, and he is somewhat loud and obnoxious at times. So some people may not want to play with a chaotic player like that. So I guess we'll just have to see how people handle that. Next, we have Rizzo. One season, 49. We just saw him lose. We saw him fourth place in fire making. Could have won the game. It was either going to be him or Savannah. His strengths is the strategic and social game. He was always good socially, and he was one of the best strategic players of that season. Probably the best. He knew where he was able to analyze people's positions in the game and how to best maneuver everyone to get his best outcome. His weakness, however, might be perception. I don't think everyone necessarily thought he was the front runner that he was in 49. Like, people have said that they were questioning what was Rizzo really doing in 49. I don't think they think that now, but it was definitely an on island thing, and we coming in as someone that these previous players don't know as well. Like, people who they haven't seen 49, but who they know them. That scares them. Like, it's the Russell Hans effect, and people are definitely they are all thinking Rizzo might be the new Russell. Rizzo is not Russell, but like, that fear is definitely in their heads. So I think Rizzo's going to have to like shift and change his perception in order to have a chance to get deep into the game. And the last player we will be discussing is Stephanie LaGrossa. 3 seasons, who made her mark as a major player in Palau, being the last person from her tribe, the only one to make it to the merge. And then Guatemala, she ran that game and got 2nd place. Her own fault that the jury did not like her. And then, like, Heroes vs. Villains, like, she was there for 6 days, got voted out 2nd, 19th place. Wasn't that impressive? And we all thought that would be the end. That's the end of Stephanie LaGrossa. She's not coming back. But she is back. I think her massive strength is her perseverance. She will not quit up until the very end. This woman will grip down with her full bearing teeth and will not let go. She does not quit. Weakness, I mentioned this earlier, jury management. She could have won Guatemala, but as the jury started growing, more and more people were not fans of Stephanie. So I think Stephanie will definitely have to change her like approach with like people in order to gain a more favorable jury if she ends up making it to the end again. And that is it. That is all I have to say about the 24 players that are going to be competing in this all-time great season. Like, this is it. This is the game of legends. Who's celebrating 20, 25, 26 years of Survivor, 50 seasons. Like, this is an all-star legends cast. And one of these 24 players will be taking home the title of Sole Survivor. That's all I gotta say. So, until next time, I'm Voitoon. You're here talking about my favorite game in the world. I'll be seeing you later. Voy tune out.